What's it about? Leaves and money, and that's all you're going to get the first time through, and that's great, because what your brain's already doing is recalling everything it knows. What are the key numbers in the question? Well, we need to know for every bag, what do you earn? $10. We don't really care what it's a bag of. We don't really care it's your dad. What we care is the amount and what we're going to earn. We're going to go through one by one, so first we're going to make the table. You're going to answer all of this right on graph paper. So on the graph paper, put your title, graphing linear functions or linear relations. Ow. So put your title, graphing linear relations, right up here. Graphing linear relations. Graphing linear relations. We're going to start with the table of values. Because last time we did them horizontally, I'm going to do one vertically just to show you that it doesn't matter. So if you like to work more vertically, then work vertically. If you like horizontally, work horizontally. I don't know why I made that one so long. It wasn't supposed to be. So we're dealing with number of bags and what's the unit for the money earned going to be? Hopefully it's not cents. Well, unless it was like 3,000 cents, that would be okay. A lot. So again, table of values can go sideways, can go horizontally, it can go vertically, completely your choice. I'm going to start with 0 bags. How much are we earning? 0. Now I probably don't want to jump by 0.5s for this one, for example. Why do I not want to use decimals? Right, so we're going to jump by ones, because most likely you're going to do 1 bag, then 2 bag, then 3 bags. 1 bag? Trying to rip off Dad here. 2 bags? 3 bags? 4? And we'll go up to 5. Part B just wants you to identify the independent and dependent variable. So independent first, that's always going to be x, which we talked about yesterday. Dependent is always going to be y. What did I tell you about the chart and something about the x and y variables yesterday? X is the first. And x is the independent because you control the number of bags. What is dependent on the number of bags that you choose to rake? The money earned. If you put them the other way, what you're actually doing then is buying bags. So you're giving $10 and you're getting a bag because the bag is then dependent on the money. We want to earn money, not buy bags of leaves. That would be weird. Part C is creating the graph. Generally, you want your graphs to be about 1/4 of a page. If they're smaller, it's really hard for me to read. If they're bigger, you're just wasting graph paper. So approximately 1/4 of a page. Okay, kind of the fist or the palm of your hand would be the general size we want to go for. I have little hands, so it's about the palm of my hand. But my arms are the right length for my body. What goes on the bottom and what goes on the side? How do we figure that out?
X is on the bottom.
X is always on the bottom, and that's number of bags. We want to start at 0. And what do we want to jump by? Well, we probably don't want to jump 1 line because then I'm going to only have the first 5 lines, and I want to space them out. So what do you think is an appropriate amount to jump?
3, 2.
So how many spaces do you want to leave between bags? 2. So leave 2 and then put 1.
Yeah.
Leave 2 and put 2. 2 and put 3, 4, 5. Actually, that was exactly the length of my line, which is kind of nice. Again, the reason I'm not jumping 1 is because then my x-axis is going to be really tiny. I'm going to have it all crammed in the left-hand side. If you jump by 2s, I'm okay with that. If you space it out by 4s, whatever. You just want to use up about a quarter of a page. What's the y-axis?
The money earned.
You want to jump by 5s? You want to jump by 10s and leave a space? What are you thinking here?
And to leave 2 lines.
Okay, so that's the same as jumping by 5s. Oh, you said 2 lines. I did 1. Doesn't matter. You did 2. That's A-okay as well.
We go a bit higher if you want.
Yeah, I did. I just went to the top of my line. Again, you just want to make sure your graph's not all stuck down in this little corner here. You want it to roughly be this size. Because this is an example, I just want you to highlight the labels and just make a note that you must have labels on the axes. We talked about this yesterday. Have labels. Now we're just going to plot the points. So the first one is 0 bags, 0 amount earned. 1 bag is $10 earned. 2 is 20, etc., etc. Remember from yesterday, the hint was if it doesn't form a line, then you've done something wrong, because all the questions we're going to do are always going to be lines. Straight lines? Yes, straight lines. For part D, we're going to go back to what we talked about with the patterns when we did the circles, the squares, the orchestra chairs. And remember we talked about the general equation being y equals some number times x plus a number? Do you remember that? And how we had to fill in these 2 numbers? And how did we figure out what those 2 numbers were going to be? From the table. So the first number was? Yeah, what we jumped by. And the second number was how much we needed in order to get that first number. So we're going to do the same thing here, except the question has told us what variables to use. They said instead of x and y, they want to see b for bags and p for pay. So now we just need to figure out which is x and which is y. And this is why we labeled them up here, the independent. So x is number of bags, so I'm going to put b in where x is. And the dependent, the money earned, is y, and so I'm going to put p in for y. And why b and p? Because they were given in the question. And then all we need to do is figure out those 2 numbers. It's exactly what we did before. The first number is going to be the amount that we jump by for the dependent variable. So how do we go from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40? Is we jump by 10s. What do we need to get the first number? So if I take 10 times 0, then technically what I'm adding is 0. For this one, there doesn't happen to be a number. So we would write that as p equals 10b. So this number is what we call the number per item. So in this case, it's the amount per bag. That's why the table is jumping by 10. And the number at the end we're going to call the fixed amount or fixed fee or fixed rate. Fixed amount, fixed fee, fixed rate. They all mean the exact same thing. And sometimes when you're buying something, you have to pay what's called a flat fee or a fixed fee before you actually use it. The classic one is renting a car, which I know none of you have done. When you rent a car, before you even drive it, there's a certain amount you have to pay. You have to pay for the insurance, you have to pay for the gas, all these certain things. It's called the fixed fee or the flat fee. This one doesn't have one because you're just earning money. That's why it's equal to 0. Questions so far with getting the equation? E and F is just asking us to use the equation now to figure some stuff out. How much would you earn if you quit raking after 5.5 bags? Well, I don't want to use the graph because that's off the graph. I just want to use a quick way to find it. So I'm going to take the B and put in, substitute in 5.5. That says 10, although I started to write a B there by accident. What's 10 times 5.5? $55. How much would you earn if you raked all day and filled 12 bags? Well, again, my graph only stops at 5. I don't want to go all the way to 12. How can I use the equation? Take out B and put in 12. You're really quiet, 120? Waiting for someone to confirm? Questions so far? So all we're doing is combining the 2 days together and putting it into one question. So we do the table, we do the graph, we get the equation, then we answer some questions. Read to read number 2. What's it about? Amusement park and the amount of money you have to pay. Okay, so now you've got the general situation in your head. Step number 1, create a table showing how much a family would spend if they have 2, 4, 8, and 10 members. So this one specifically is giving you some values. I'll do horizontal just because we did vertical for the last one. It's completely up to you which way you do your table. Which one is independent? Which one do you control? Yeah, you control how many people you bring, so number of people. Because you bring people, what happens? You have to pay. They've told us to use 2, 4, 8, and 10. And so you don't have to, but I'm just going to show you how we're doing the calculations below. So we have to pay $20 plus $5 per person. And so the first one is 2 people. Bed math says we do what first? The multiplication first, so 5 times 2 is 10. 20 plus 10, 30. Okay? You don't need to show the work, you just need to show the table. I'm just showing you for the example, so when you look back. For the next one, we still have to pay our $20, and then we're going to pay $5 for every one of our 4 people. Multiplication comes first, so 5 times 4 is 20. 20 plus 20, for 8 people, we still need to pay the $20, and then it's $5 for each of the 8 people. 5 plus 8, which would be, I said plus times, thank you, 8 times 5, plus the 20. And for the last one, we're still going to pay our 20, and we have 5 for every 10 people. Offer of 70. Which is independent, which is dependent. We'll grab your table. What's on the top? There's our independent. And our dependent is the amount of money or the cost to enter the amusement park. We just did B. We just did B. What do we want to put on the bottom? I'm going to jump 2 spaces and then do 2 spaces, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Why did I put the 6 there? That wasn't in our table. So yeah, we got to evenly space them. So I'm not going by the table. I'm just skip counting by 2s. And the other side is the cost, or how much we have to pay. And I'm going to go up by 10s, I think. Now, if you had forgotten this 6 on the bottom and you had just taken the values right from the table, what would have happened now is you wouldn't have had a line. It would have gone straight, and then it would have gone up with a different kind of slope. Okay, so we just are skip counting here, not going by the table. So applying the points, 0. Ooh, it's not in my table. How much do we pay for 0 people, even if we don't bring anyone? So if no people enter the park, but we show up, we still have to pay the $20. Because that's the flat fee for the amusement park. So even if we don't go inside, as long as we go there, we're still going to pay the $20. And now 2 is going to become 30. 4 is 40. 6 I don't have, so I'm just skipping it. 8 is 60. And 10 is 70. Kayla, could you grab the door, please? Thank you. D, we're going to make that equation. The general is y equals a number times x plus a number. If the question gives us variables, then we need to replace y and x. Have they given us particular variables? Yeah. Yep. So y is, which they have called cost, and x is P for people. And now we just have to figure out the numbers. Well, if you look at the way we calculated, we actually already have the formula right here. How much are we paying per person? It's $5 per person. And what's our fixed cost, or our fixed amount, or our flat rate? $20. So again, this is the cost per person. And this is the flat rate, or the fixed rate, or the fixed cost, or the flat fee, all mean the exact same thing. Family of 5, go ahead and calculate how much it's going to cost for 5 people to go. heard someone say 45. Confirm? You can't confirm yourself.
Yeah, I think.
Awesome. What about 20 people? I don't know if we can afford to go to this place with 20 people. Offer of 120? Questions so far? Do you see the similarity between the two questions? Read to read number 3, don't overthink it. What's it about? Yes, what else? Yes, that's really important, so we're going to highlight that. This one just wants the table, the graph, and the equation. I'm going to go vertically. Yeah, if you don't have enough paper, grab another sheet. We don't need as much paper because it doesn't ask as much, but if you need a sheet, grab it. Number of glasses. Cost. Table's asking for 1, 2, 4, and 10. Now just be careful, this isn't number of pops you're buying, this is number of glasses you're drinking. So this isn't that you're bringing 1 person, 2 people, 4 people, 10 people. This is you ordering a Coke and drinking 1, 2, 4, and 10, though I don't know if you could drink 10. Well, I guess it depends on the size of the glass. Yeah, exactly. So how much is 1 going to cost you? $2. That's it. So how much does 2 cost you? Still $2. How much does 4 glasses, so the first glass and the 3 refills? $2. What about 10 glasses? So again, you just need to wrap your head around that's glasses, not number of people. If you were bringing 10 people, how much would it cost would be different. Do I have to label the axes? Yes! Typically the graphs are 2 marks. You get 1 mark for actually putting the line on there correctly. The second mark is for labeling and putting the scale and getting the numbers. I need to go up to 10, so I'm going to jump by 1s, I think. Catch. Oh, good catch. What's the only number we need on the y-axis? 2. So I'm going to jump it fairly high, put 1 and then 2. So I'm just spacing it out a little bit.
Does it matter where you put it, how high up?
Not at all.
Put 2 all the way.
Again, you don't want it really, really close because you want your graph to be nice. You don't want it all squished into the bottom. Yeah, if you want to. That's fine. You just, yeah. Not like that, like you hold it like a pen. Okay, and then just, shh. I don't know why it has a noise. It has a noise apparently. You might be holding it too flat. Caitlin, you may need to help him on this one.
This way.
Yeah.
That hurts my ears.
Go and show me. Robson's got it. I think it's just the angle that you're doing it.
No, he's just dumb.
No, it's just the angle.
Nah, Kurt is dumb. Kurt is dumb. Robson can't. Oh, yeah, okay, now it's possible.
Is it empty? It could be empty.
It's like not started. Oh, there we go.
Oh, oh, oh.
What are you gonna do? Well, Frank, you gotta
How many grade 9s does it take to use Whiteout?
Yeah, that's right. We saw me and Robbie were talking.
Apparently 2 is the answer to that question.
We saw like 4 hydro. It was my fault. Trying to fix one power line. So we read this. How many hydro vans does it take to fix one power line?
Depends if they're on overtime or not.
It took them 4.
Riley.
4 trucks times 2.
Sorry? Yeah, eventually. Yeah. Okay, 0 glasses.
$0.
1 glass.
$2.
2 glasses.
$2.
4.
$2.
10.
$2.
And so I'm not going to join it to the origin for this one because I don't want my line to go down at the beginning. I'm just going to start at 1. What kind of line? Horizontal.
Might be sick those free refills, but they usually never do that. Subway. Oh yeah, Subway. I've been to Subway in a while.
Oh, this was me. Some of the Subways have the new, like, make your own drink. I love that.
I like the one at Wendy's.
Cherry Coke Zero is my favorite. It's the same one at Subways now.
Wendy's is way much better because it has like every type of drink in diet. So I don't trust
Oh,
that. So, like they got like diet Fanta.
nice. That's hard to find in stores, eh?
You can only get them in the States. That's whenever we go, we like stock up on diet drinks.
I'm grabbing my red pen because the equation is a little bit different for a horizontal line.
Diabetes. No, no, okay.
For a horizontal line, we're not going to have a variable on this side. What's the cost no matter how many glasses we drink?
$2.
So it's just going to be y equals 2. So that's always for a horizontal line.
So just one answer for horizontal.
Yep. Yeah, 4 we're going to do right on the note package. So just a different kind of question. It gives you a graph and says create a situation that would result in this graph. Label the axes. So it has to be something that's upward sloping, so it's got a positive relationship, but we also need to account for the fact that it starts above the origin. So what that tells you is has to have what?
A higher number.
But how do we get that higher number?
Only if like this.
The fixed fee or the flat rate or the whatever else we call it, fee, rate, cost, fixed cost. So it has to be something that when it's 0 that you still have some kind of value to it. Thoughts?
How many people like?
Sorry? Renting a spaceship. What would the flat fee be? $200, and then how much per alien that you pick up? Per astronaut that you have? Per... Okay, so we're renting a spaceship.
Every alien that you pick up. Yeah, you get paid for it.
We're probably not that far away from renting spaceships, by the way. At one point, people thought renting airplanes would be crazy, but if you have a pilot's license, you can rent an airplane.
The Russians are actually building a hotel in space.
They are.
To buy
What?
a trip to it.
You know, there's people going to live on Mars and aren't coming back.
Mhm.
They're gonna go
2025.
2025. They're going to launch up and
So you know how on April Fools, like lots of companies put out fake ads? So CIBC put one. First teller, first instant bank or whatever they're called, ATM. First ATM on the International Space Station. And they'd taken the space station, put their logo on it. And people were like, I can't believe they're spending my fees on this. That's ridiculous. That's a waste of money. I'm like, really, people? Really? Okay, $200 fixed rate. No matter how many people you have, you're paying $200. Well, that's cheap for a spaceship, I would think. Okay, then what about per person? It doesn't work. It doesn't actually get off the ground, but we won't tell you that.
halfway to the moon.
Yeah, then that's it.
You're stuck, you know.
We can get you there, but then we're not bringing you back. Okay, how much are you charging per person?
$20.
Really, for a spaceship?
Yes.
I think it's got to be more. 50,000.
50,000. Why is it 200?
Because it costs a lot to go to space.
But it's made out of cardboard.
There could be fuel fees. What about the spacesuit you have to wear?
Maybe it's not.
Well, tinfoil. Tinfoil. No, I'm saying 50,000 per person.
It's a scam.
We need to label the axes, so we have to figure out what's going to go on the bottom, what's going to go on the side.
How many people in this station?
Number of people. But what's the whole thing that's on the Y? It's people and cost. That's it.
That's a lot of.
That's all the question wants. Well, we don't know the scale, though, right? We don't know. We don't know how high it goes up. We're okay with that. Question.